merangkumi sektor-sektor yang berbeza. Sektor tenaga 32 inisiatif, sektor sains teknologi dan inovasi 31 inisiatif dan 40 inisiatif untuk sektor alam sekitar dan perubahan iklim, dan untuk bahagian pengurusan dan juga antarabangsa kita ada yang lain-lain adalah di bawah pengurusan dan antarabangsa. Ini adalah supaya kementerian kita boleh dimanage dengan lebih baik lagi, dengan ada sasaran, dengan ada KPI, kita sentiasa pantau ya. Tadi saya telah pun melancarkan iAlert. iAlert adalah satu sistem di mana kita telah tubuhkan di bawah yang dipanggil sistem iAlert ini. Long name adalah sistem Intelligent Analysis, Evaluation and Real-Time Solution, iAlert, di mana pegawai-pegawai kita boleh tengok dashboard pencapaian inisiatif-inisiatif ini. Ini adalah untuk memastikan bahawa 130 inisiatif ini bukan sahaja dilancarkan tetapi dilaksanakan dengan baik, dengan mengikut timeline yang kita telah tetapkan, dan semua dashboard ini boleh diakses oleh pegawai-pegawai dan juga management team ya. So top management, kalau kita nak tengok sama ada apa sektor yang mengikut sasaran, mengikut jadual, siapa yang ataupun apa inisiatif yang belum lagi mencapai sasaran pada masa tertentu. Ini adalah ini adalah kali kedua kita melancarkan inisiatif MESTECC. 2019 kita lancarkan 73, tahun ini kita 2020, supaya kita mendapat penglibatan bukan sahaja antara pegawai-pegawai kita, sebab sektor MESTECC adalah sangat besar. Kita ada tiga bidang kuasa, 3 sektor. Oleh itu sentiasa mungkin ya sektor ini tak tahu apa sektor yang lain yang buat. Oleh itu kita ada hari terbuka supaya semua faham antara satu sama lain apakah inisiatif yang diterajui oleh bahagian yang berbeza-beza. Dan juga keduanya ialah stakeholders kita. Stakeholders kita pun jemput syarikat-syarikat ataupun swasta ataupun NGO yang terlibat dengan kerja-kerja kita supaya mereka lebih memahami lagi apakah inisiatif untuk tahun 2020. Dan petang ini kita juga ada banyak dialog ya, yang berkaitan dengan sektor yang berbeza supaya kita bukan sahaja adalah open day untuk memahami MESTECC, tetapi juga kerja-kerja kita dengan lebih meneliti lagi. Anda semua boleh dapat lebih terperinci ya daripada buku itu apa yang kita ada dialog. So ini adalah supaya kita berkomunikasi apa yang kita buat dengan lebih baik melalui pelancaran inisiatif MESTECC 2020. Itu sahaja daripada saya. Mungkin kita akan bagi satu statement supaya boleh lebih teliti lagi dan juga ringkasannya untuk inisiatif 2020.
Any questions from the floor?
Sorry, what was the success rate of the previous initiative?
Previous initiative kita roughly at about 80% of the whatever that we have sasarkan. But of course more than 80%, but it depends on what you sasar, right? So oleh itu adalah sangat penting kita always meningkatkan sasaran kita to make sure that it is more challenging for this year. That is why just now in my speech I actually raised 2 things. One is on the tindakan penguasaan. Last year our target is 100% increase daripada 7,000 lebih, tapi apa yang kita capai adalah 18,000. So itu lebih daripada 100, peningkatan 100%. Tahun ini sasaran kita adalah 30,000. So tengok, kalau kita setkan sasaran, kita capai sasaran, tapi tahun ini kita akan tingkatkan sasaran lagi supaya we don't live in a comfort zone. Kita sentiasa membuat lebih baik daripada apa yang kita telah capai untuk tahun sebelumnya. Okay.
Yeah. I actually have several questions based on the speech just
Yeah.
now. Opening up sources of for coal and gas fuel going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that there's a political will to do that now. But what would you say is the biggest challenge to realizing this by this year, given that we've had only one company that's sort of had a monopoly on it?
So one of the things that opening up of this pilot project, this is pilot project by this year, not the this year. So what we are going to do is that the biggest mechanism is how do we have the incentives. How do we create incentives? Because actually it's not of the suppliers. How do you create incentives? Right now at this moment, every of the fuel cost is actually passed through according to the power purchase agreement. So what you're supposed to do is that how to incentivize IPPs, because no matter how much I source, what I source, I pass through to consumer. So there is no incentive to make them want to source a cheaper fuel. So what one of the our challenge is to get incentives to say that, okay, so to create that incentive mechanism of which the savings will be shared between them and consumers. Then there will be enough incentives to drive the IPPs to source a different suppliers. Actually at this moment, suppliers, there will be more. Is that whether or not there is a will from the demand. So one of the things that we are going to identify is that what will be the incentives mechanism to drive IPPs to source out a more cost-efficient fuel.
And the engagement with IPPs right now is very positive.
So we will be engaging. There is no conclusion yet. So we'll be continuing and engaging. If you look at the timeline, you'll look at about Q3. We will have the kerangka, we have the framework of which, and then Q4 we'll do a pilot project on that for those people who would like to take on a pilot project for coal. Because as you understand, last year actually we already do a pilot project for gas. Of which Shell and TAP actually collaborate, and then they bring in a cargo of different of LNG that is not from Petronas, from Shell. So it was very successful and create savings of more than 5 million in just 2 weeks in 2 plants. So it is actually very successful for gas, and of course it depends on the gas price, and so always there is a risk if you go for third party. But this year we are really looking into a pilot project for coal at the end of the year for coal power plant, and for gas for those who want to try out a third-party access framework, because third-party access we had the framework about 3 years ago, but the implementation, last year was the first time it is implemented and tried out. So maybe there will be more. There will be more players who want to try out, and then we can try out our third-party access framework, and it will continue to make it simpler, or we'll continue to see what are the gaps, to fill up the gaps, to make sure third-party access framework is not just a framework but can be implemented and is really practiced in Malaysia.
You're also talking about the reforming the DOE. I was wondering if you could share some specifics and what has been lacking that needs to be reformed.
Yeah. So one of the things on DOE, one of course is the number of people. We always have so the number of people, the berjawatan in DOE is 1,400. We have never been able to fill up the 1,400. So one of the things that they fill up enough berjawatan. So last year we have filled up about 100, and this year we want to fill up everything of 1,400 people. The other part of it is that so because 1,400 people to actually do pollution control in the entire country is actually very challenging. One of the things that we need to look at is to look at technology. So, and the gentra, that means the machineries that is used to monitor pollution and also to help with enforcement. So, for example, this year the Ministry of Finance have allocated 30 million for us to beef up the machineries in Jabatan Kimia Negara and Jabatan Kimia Malaysia, and also DOE to find out all the to get all the alat-alat pengukur, all the tools that is necessary to help with enforcement. The other part is that we are also looking into increasing sensors by the way of mandating some industry that is located in an environment sensitive area to put on real-time sensors to be connected to our data center. The other part is that of course we are doing our renegotiation of environment quality monitoring program, of which is a concession. We're trying to renegotiate to see whether or not we can increase the number of sensors around to monitor. So the moment we have more sensors in the age of IoT, all the data, we will use the data to streamline or to shortlist the number of places to do enforcement and to do the real person to go there to check on and to take action. So that will help a lot. So one is the number of people. 2 is the machineries. Of course, 3 is we want to also look into process. So what is the process, and can we streamline the process and standardize the process? And a lot of things, enforcement also includes standards. So sometimes it's Budi Bicara of this negeri, Budi Bicara of that negeri. So we will standardize all those processes and standards. So all these are under JUST as well. So number 4 that we think will be important as an enforcement agency, one of the things is anti-corruption. So we make sure that our people are high in integrity. Then people take action, and so there is also a plan of anti-corruption, the plan on anti-corruption plan in the plan tindakan reformasi JUST. Alright.
So much work.
Huh?
So much work.
So much work. And one initiative is a lot of work already. A lot of activity. So kita ada 130 initiative, 740 activities. Activities. So each of these activities.
Sorry, Mani, in your speech you mentioned about addressing plastic waste.
Yeah.
It just so happened that today the Guardian came out with
Yeah.
an article saying that Greenpeace is urging the Italian government to stop exporting plastic waste to Malaysia.
Yeah.
Apparently, in the first 9 months of last year, over 2,800 tons of plastic waste were exported to Malaysia from Italy. Were you aware of this?
I have to check the numbers. I think we have to cross-check the numbers with our enforcement on Italian plastic waste. Our position has always been that we would not want illegal smuggling of illegal plastic waste. We do not want a contaminated plastic waste, and that Malaysia cannot be the rubbish dump of the world. But specifically on that, the numbers, we need to cross-check with the agency on that number. But from on top of my head, the biggest importers is not Italy lah. The biggest importers are UK, France, and US, and Japan, and some of these countries. But we will continuously. Yesterday, I've just launched this what we call, again, as a standard, because actually in government agencies we need to have standard to standardize agencies. Which agency do what? Because on the enforcement of pengimportan sisa plastic, the import of plastic waste, they include a lot of agencies, not only MESTECC, DOE, Custom, and different JPSPN, which is under Solid Waste Management Agency, is under KBKT, and all these, they have different roles. So we standardize all the role. So I've just launched it yesterday, and that will help us to be able to identify containers more quickly when they come in, to be able to also simplify or know what to do, how to send it back. Last year we started to send it, but it was very difficult because there is no SOPs. We don't know what to do. So we worked out how to do it, and then we document it. Because what you don't want is you do it once, and then next time when you change minister or change pegawai, nobody knows how to do it already. So you want to have the institutional memory. So we standardize those and we write it down. So yesterday we just launched it and sent it to all the agencies involved to help to, one, identify the import. Second, if it is identified, how do we send it back, and all the procedures involved, and punca kuasa.
But what do we actually have a deal with Italy to take in their waste?
Italy, as far as I know, there is not yet, right? We have to check. We have to check on this. But normally, what we do is this: if we identify that there is a container from them, we will, under Basel Convention, we will then inform the competent authority on the other side, and to see, okay, we are returning this waste to you. So will you accept it? Normally, most of the country will accept it. So it is not a problem. Once we identify, if we can actually verify the claim, then once we identify, we will always go to the competent authority of the other side. And so far, we have not yet get a competent authority and say, no, you don't send back the containers back to me. So.
But how prevalent is this case now in general, and how effective has it been in shutting down all these illegal?
So one of the things that we need to know is that the illegal factories will continue if we let the influx will come in. So one thing that we want to do is to be able to effectively control the influx of the illegal waste. So I would say that it has come down a lot from the number of complaints. So we have to see the impact of it, right? So the number of complaints last year was 2018 was so much more than what we see today. But we are still seeing that there are some illegal factories that are still ongoing. That's why last week, Timbalan, Deputy Minister, went to Kedah and actually there is a illegal plastic plant inside a plantation. So that is why we continue our action. I would not say it's zero now. I would say that we continuously will have to battle, and we will have to fight this illegal plastic factories, because many of them are already inside Malaysia, and they will find ways and go to all this hidden corner. So we would like the people to actually be our ears and eyes. If they can actually report to us, we'll be able to then take actions. And then with some technology, with drones and all that, we'll be able to identify them quite quickly. Yeah.
Can I ask one question on finance?
We asked about the initiative first. Yeah. We go through the initiative first. Yeah.
Any other questions on initiatives?
Can I?
No, the ladies at the back.
And
Yeah.
Sarah from Malaysia SME. Could you maybe briefly explain to me the objectives of the Majlis Tindakan Perubahan Iklim Negara, and maybe give some highlights of the Plan Adaptasi Perubahan Iklim?
Yeah. So this Majlis Tindakan Perubahan Iklim Negara is one of the promise that we made in the manifesto and Buku Harapan. And the function of this Majlis Negara is to be able to get enough most stakeholders from industry, from academia, from government to come together to work on, to coordinate what do we do at the multiple level. So what you see, climate change is not one ministry can take charge. One ministry do not do adaptation and mitigation itself. The ministry is to coordinate across ministry and across different tiers of government, federal, negeri and states, and also the local councils. So we must have a majlis, a council, to be able to coordinate every of these things. Mitigation, adaptation, which level, what they do on different aspects. So that is the function of the council, and the council also advise the minister on in terms of policies, also advise on the Climate Change Center in terms of policies and the way forward for Malaysia. The other part on the Plan Tindakan Adaptasi Perubahan Iklim is that a lot of time when we talk about climate change, we always think of how do we reduce carbon. That's on the mitigation. How do you reduce carbon, and then how do you actually to reduce the global warming, right? So, but then the other part of it is that if global warming is going to happen, and it's going to happen according to IPCC report, it's going to happen. So what is whether you are ready for it? So ready for it is adapting to it, adapting to a 2 Celsius scenario, for example. So we need to be able to have the plan now, because if you have an action plan now, then you can invest now. For example, in infrastructure, your food production, how you at the different aspects of the impact of climate change, that you will be able to invest now than when it comes. So that is roughly what will the plan include, because it's not just about rising sea levels, it's more than rising sea levels. So how do we do it, and how much do we invest, and all this need to be quantified, need to be scientific based. That is why you need a proper plan, and a proper study on this. Right.
Any other questions on initiative or MESTECC overall?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Because you also talked about cross-border pollution, and
Yeah.
I remember meeting you in September at the height of the haze and all that. I mean, now that we've got good weather, you talked about the challenges you face in terms of bringing companies you feel responsible because you don't get cooperation.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering where we are at this stage, and what can be done by this year.
So this year, I think by this Wednesday, I'm going to table a policy paper to the cabinet on whether to go ahead with the drafting of the Transboundary Pollution Act. That includes haze, but as well as waterway pollution. Because sometimes if you have a ship, the leak diesel and all this in the international waterway, that this is a Malaysian ship, then they come and pollute Malaysia, and how do we can we take action against them, etc. So it's a Transboundary Pollution Act. This once the cabinet decide that we are going ahead, then we will draft it, and we hope to be able to table it to the parliament before the haze season. So this one will encompass whatever we can do. There is a lot of limitation. There's a lot of limitation as for bidang kuasa, your jurisdiction. Our jurisdiction is within Malaysia. So there is a lot of restriction in terms of international treaties. So we have experts in that to identify what will be the restriction, but what we can do best here. So that will be so that the law will give some impact, but it may not solve the problem. I would say that it may not solve the problem, but we will leave it to our neighbor countries to solve the problem to the root at the root of the problem. But what we can do is through the law, whatever we can do by the way of law, we will put it in the Transboundary Pollution Act. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Also, the single-use plastics.
Single-use plastic.
It's
Okay.
been you mentioned it's been implemented for some time
Yeah.
to cut the use of it, and I'm just trying to get some clarity on its effectiveness, because what we know right now is just anecdotal.
Yeah. So I think it takes some time because what we want is to on the grassroots level implementation. So what you need is the local government to implement that, and the state government. Some state government take it very seriously, they launch it and they do it. But every 6 months I meet with the EXCOs, on the environment EXCOs, we will identify, because under the roadmap by 2021, all of them need to reach certain milestones. So we are actually looking at that, and we memantau lah, we monitor whether or not each states what are their progress and what is the challenges, and we will help them to overcome some of these challenges. Of course, it is just started. What we are seeing right now is really on the awareness phase. But for example, in very progressive states like Penang, they will be more than the awareness stage already. Then they go ahead with plastic-free Monday, Wednesday, etc. But for different states, it will be different awareness. So let the state government and on the local council level, they work on this. Okay.
Thanks, Madam.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, can I ask
Yeah.
about, basically a few days ago,
Yeah.
the Bentong MP has urged your ministry to reject Linus's application for license renewal in March. Would you like to respond to that?
On the Linus application on license renewal, they have just submitted their application. The Atomic Energy Licensing Board, AELB, will be issuing a statement on the status on the application. Yeah.
And how about the fact that Linus plans to sue those who criticize?
You'll need to ask Linus about this.
Okay. What's the biggest hindrance, would you say, in the initiative? Because you say 80% last year initiative.
Yeah.
What's the biggest barrier?
No, sometimes you said I think more than 80%. But what we see that well, sometimes you don't hit 100%. When you hit 100%, that means your sasaran is too low. I mean, even 80% is not good. It's 70%. That means your sasaran is quite right. You know, you always want to set something that you possibly cannot achieve. You don't set something that you know you will achieve. If you set something that you can achieve, you very in comfort zone already. So that's why we set something that possibly you cannot achieve. So I think I am okay with what they have been achieved. Of course, again, I think this year a lot more initiatives. Very measurable, the KPIs. Last year was the first time we see how measurable our KPIs are and all that. This year will be much more systematic. We hope to be able to achieve more. But again, if we get 100%, there is something wrong with the goal. I would say that, yeah. Okay, all right.